and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the Prime Minister. Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem. Please be seated. Prime Minister Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Minister of Health and Wellness and Member of Parliament St. Catherine West Central, Dr. Christopher Tufton, Mayor of Spanish Town, His Worship the Mayor Councillor Norman Scott, other councillors, caretakers, and political representatives, Pastor of the Red Hills Methodist Church, Reverend Shane Hansel, NHT Board Chairman, Mr. Linval Freeman, and other NHT Board Directors, Managing Director of the National Housing Trust, Mr. Martin Miller, and other management and staff of the NHT, our development partners and consultants, heads of agencies and other representatives, mortgage partner institutions, other government and project stakeholders, residents of Kitson Town, members of the media, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. How do you do? On behalf of the National Housing Trust, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this very special occasion, the official handing over ceremony for the Cherry Gardens housing development here in St. Catherine. Today is more than just a ceremony. It is a moment of fulfillment. It is a celebration of promise delivered, and for many families, the beginning of a new chapter. Not true? And so this event was originally scheduled, as many of you know, was originally scheduled for October last year. But as we all know, with the passage of Hurricane Melissa, it reminded us of the importance of resilience, not just for infrastructure, but also in our spirit. And so it is especially meaningful that we are gathered here today to celebrate with our new lot owners, even as we celebrate the Jamaican spirit that is unwavering, even as we recover. My name is Donetta Russell, and I'm truly delighted to be your Master of Ceremonies for this handing over ceremony. and to celebrate a significant milestone in the lives of another set of Jamaicans, courtesy of the National Housing Trust. And I must tell you that you are sharing history with us, because this is another handing over ceremony in the realm of the 50th anniversary of the NHT. Isn't that wonderful? It is my privilege to guide you through this afternoon's proceedings, which will culminate with the handing over of letters of possession for 34 new NHT beneficiaries. And so to all new lot owners, and I'm looking at you there, welcome home. And again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Having welcomed you all, our first duty of business today is to bless today's activities. And most importantly, to bless the land here, to bless the construction that will take place, and of course, to bless the new families who will put down their roots. And to help us do that, I'd like to invite to the lectern Reverend Shane Hansel, pastor of the Red Hills Methodist Church, to lead us in prayer. Reverend Hansel.
Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Christopher Tufton, Minister of Health, Wellness, and Member of Parliament for St. Catherine, West Central. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. To God be the glory. As we come this afternoon to celebrate, we indeed come to celebrate God's faithfulness. And as I seek to paraphrase from Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 9, that points us to God's faithfulness as he covenants with his people. And that covenant is a covenant that brings compassion, a covenant of grace, a covenant of mercy, and a covenant that reminds us that God is all sufficient. And so as we come, we recognize God's faithfulness among us as a nation. And out of that faithfulness, we give God thanks for the resilience of his people, the courage, the strength, and the fortitude that regardless of where we find ourselves, hope is still alive because we serve a faithful God. Amen? Let us go to God in prayer. Gracious God, we give you thanks that you are our Father. We give you thanks that you are a faithful God, one who understands us, one who journeys with us, and one who promises never to leave us nor forsake us. And so, merciful God, we give you thanks for the mercies that you have extended to us as a nation, and that you continue to extend through the National Housing Trust for 50 years. We give you thanks, Lord, for your faithfulness to this organization. The many lives, the many cheer, the many laughter that it has brought to families. And for today, God, for these 34 families that are rejoicing because of your faithfulness towards them, we give you thanks, Lord. Lord, we thank you that you are our providing God. And so we thank you for the provision that you have made through the resources, through this government, that you continue to give the insight and the foresight as our Prime Minister leads. And as he guides, O Lord, may you continue to inspire, and may you continue to allow him to hear that voice that continues to beckon us as a people to hopefulness. And so, God of hope, God of grace, and God of mercy, we celebrate today. And so, Lord, as we come on this spot, we bless it, Lord. We claim it as your own. We ask you, God, that the four walls and the four corners of this property of Cherry Gardens will be so blessed that when the families come in, the crops will grow. The children and the families will live in peace. Your presence will dwell among them. And Jamaica indeed will give you thanks because you are a faithful God. And so, Father, even as we continue to celebrate and give you thanks, may your faithfulness continue with us through this evening's proceedings. And may we find that peace in you, that hope in you as a nation, as we continue to abide in your faithfulness, and as we continue to look to you as our faithful God. And Lord, continue to bless this land, Jamaica land we love. And may Jamaica continue under God to prosper, to increase, as she attends to the welfare of the whole human race. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Indeed, hope is still alive because we serve a faithful God. Thank you, Reverend Hansel, for grounding us in gratitude and purpose, and to put today's activity in such profound spiritual perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, it takes a team. It takes a team working together to build stronger communities and ensure that more Jamaicans have the opportunity to own their own home. Representing the NHT team this afternoon is Chairman of the National Housing Trust, Mr. Linville Freeman. And so I now invite Mr. Freeman to the lectern to share his thoughts on the project and the NHT's ongoing efforts to provide affordable housing. Please, let's make him welcome.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony. I think you're doing a great job. I mean, you're keeping the momentum that has been set by Dwayne. It's very good to see that. Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Honorable Chris Tufton, Minister of Health and Wellness, a Member of Parliament for West Central St. Catherine, His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Norman Scott, other political representatives. I see my fellow board member being present. Tisha, welcome. And greetings as well to the other members of board, our managing director and his team, and other members of the NHT family. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd also like to specially recognize a gentleman in the audience, though, and his name is Mr. L.K. Narul. So Mr. Rule was my principal back in the early 70s. He is also, or was also, a councillor for the Point Hill Division for over 18 years. Mr. Rule, can he be recognized? Where is he? Oh, he's right at the back there. Very happy to see you, Mr. Rule. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. It is my privilege to be with you here at Cherry Gardens, St. Catherine, a parish rich in history, yet shaped by dynamic and expanding development. I would also like to say that St. Catherine, and for many of us sitting in this audience, is the land of my birth. And in fact, I used to travel along this road sometimes 3 to 4 times per month to go to my home up in Garden Hill. Minister Tufton knows that place very, very well, which is about maybe 10 or 15 miles away from here. I used to see this place, Cherry Gardens. So I'm very happy that I can be here today to a place that I used to just drive past and look across. Over the years, persistence is the hallmark of the NHT. Of course, this is reflected in the communities that we build and the lives that we transformed. This particular handing over ceremony was supposed to have been done last year, but we got a little bit blown off our tracks by Hurricane Melissa. And I'm very, very happy, and I give thanks that we are now back on track in terms of all the activities that the NHT will undertake for the next couple of months. Today, that story continues, and the handing over of 34 service lots. The handing over of 34 service lots built. In fact, we have actually handed over 47 already, in the year 2004, I think, and we are happy to be handing these lots to our hard-working Jamaican men and women. As the Trust commemorates its 50th anniversary, moments like this are tangible expression of the NHT's enduring mission. For 5 decades, we have been expanding access, strengthening communities, empowering Jamaicans with hope, pride, and a sense of place. This handing over isn't merely a transfer of land. It represents the foundation upon which families can be built, grow, and thrive for generations. Cherry Gardens add to this living legacy of holistic communities defined by growth, stability, and sustainability. This development, being delivered in partnership with Preview Limited under the Interim Financing Program, reflects the strength of collaboration in expanding access to home ownership. The Interim Finance Program plays an important role in this regard, allowing the NHT to provide financing at very low interest rates to developers for the construction of housing solutions, while ensuring the benefits of that support are passed on to our contributors through affordable pricing. We have another program called the Guaranteed Purchase Program, and another one also, the Developers Program, which complement the Interim Finance Program. Together, these programs form part of a deliberate and coordinated approach by the NHT to leverage public-private partnership and, in so doing, expand housing delivery, improve access, and respond meaningfully to the growing demand for housing in Jamaica. As we expand housing supply opportunities, the Trust continues to enhance its mortgage offerings and policy measures, ensuring that contributors can access greater level of financing. In the coming months, a number of new measures will take effect, some of which have been announced by our Honorable Prime Minister, to support our contributors. These include interest rate reductions for categories of public service workers, enhanced support for young contributors to include increased access to housing solution, and assistance with deposit of up to $2 million, as well as a reduction in the waiting period for home improvement loans, reducing that period from 7 to 5 years. Contributors will also continue to benefit from 100% financing for NHT build developments. I'd just like to repeat that. So whichever schemes that NHT builds, each person can access a home in that development at 100% NHT financing. Together, these measures are designed to ensure that more Jamaicans can access and sustain home ownership with greater ease and confidence. As we continue to expand housing opportunity, the Trust is also mindful of the importance of sustainability and resilience in modern housing development. Our Smart Energy Program for pensioners support homeowners in reducing energy costs while encouraging more environmentally responsible housing solutions across Jamaica. The NHT is mindful of the impact of Hurricane Melissa on Jamaicans. Against that background, the Trust extended the Hurricane Relief Program to further ensure that contributors continue to have access to concessional financing to support repairs, resilience, upgrades, and recovery efforts. And many of us would have read in the papers the many grants and other opportunities that the NHT has provided its contributors and others during this period of recovery from Hurricane Melissa. I want to say thank you this afternoon to the people who are the backbone of this project. To our partners, Preview Limited, we thank you for your continued collaboration. To our teams within the NHT, especially the St. Catherine branch, your work continues to transform vision into reality. To those who work behind the scenes to make today possible, I extend my sincere appreciation. So to our beneficiaries, congratulations. Today belongs to you. Development like Cherry Gardens are about far more than infrastructure. They are about people and the lives that will be lived right here in Cherry Gardens, the family that will grow here, and the future that will take shape in this very, very community. We encourage you to see not just land before you, but also the life that will unfold upon it. The NHT remains committed to being accessible and present, offering guidance and support every step of the way. As you move from plans on paper to houses on the ground and to ultimately to homes. I always say a home is a man's one of the greatest assets that a man could ever own. In that same spirit, we encourage you as future homeowners to build with intention, working along those who are already here, sharing knowledge, and contributing to shaping Cherry Gardens into a community defined by connection, pride, and collective growth. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the day. And I hope in short order, when I drive past again, I will see structures and homes being built that will provide, home for those who are successful. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Chairman Freeman, for those remarks and for your continued leadership, sir. Indeed, at the NHC, we do look forward to handing over ceremonies because, as you have shared, these are grounded in persistence and they are a tangible expression of the NHC's enduring mission. Thank you again, sir. The impact of the NHC is often measured in terms of the number of housing projects it delivers, but that hardly tells the full story. Projects like Cherry Gardens provide families with a safe and stable place to live, create jobs, stimulate the local economy, and to revitalize communities and create countless opportunities. Our next speaker can tell you of the impact of the development on this community. I now invite Dr. the Honorable Christopher Tufton, Minister of Health and Wellness and Member of Parliament for St. Catherine West Central, to bring greetings.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Most Honorable Prime Minister, let me just welcome you to the constituency of St. Catherine West Central, sir, somewhere that I know you are not unfamiliar with, and I hope you had a good drive on the roads coming up to this location. Well, in fact, you did say you had a drive that was very observant and that my case has been made. Take note, constituents who are in the audience. I am making a case, right? But Prime Minister, good to see you, and this is a great occasion. I want to recognize also the Chairman, the CEO, and other members of the NHT team. Welcome. We appreciate your being here and certainly appreciate the occasion. I see members of the other utility company, the NWC, and I want to recognize them, you, sir, and your team. Other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and of course, last but by no means least, the constituents of St. Catherine West Central. Big up to our friends, and we are hosts. So give them a round of applause, please, just to welcome them. Want to especially welcome also the beneficiaries of these lots. My understanding is that not all of you are from St. Catherine West Central. You are from the parish of St. Catherine. Just a quick note as an introduction. The electoral office is literally just up the road right here. It's actually in Cherry Gardens. And, in recognition of the achievements that you are gaining with the support of us all, you can transfer your votes and we can have a conversation when I come to pass through. Your Worship, the Mayor, don't be offended by that. You're on my turf. But I really want to just commend and thank the most honorable Prime Minister, who is the Minister of Housing, and of course the leader of government, for this program, essentially, and for the thousands of Jamaicans, in this case, our own citizens here, our citizens to be, that is providing what is perhaps the most important investment, as chairman of the NHT said earlier, and the most valuable, and the most life-changing, and the most life-enhancing investment that one could ever have. Owning your own home, starting with a lot, of course, is actually quite significant. And I know you're very happy, very pleased, and I want to just recognize those who have made it possible, led by the most honorable Prime Minister. I want to recognize my own local representation who are here, my councillors from St. Catherine West Central, Val Leslie, Mr. Archer. I don't say Alfonso, but I know he probably is at the back. He doesn't normally come to the front. And the administrative team. Prime Minister, since I have you as a captive and I have the utility companies, I have to say it, and I'm speaking now purely as Member of Parliament, not as Minister, right? I don't want to offend the Prime Minister and take me out of the cabinet, right? But as Member of Parliament, I think I can do a little lobbying. First of all, I'm happy for this because we're going to fix the sewage problem in Cherry Gardens, which has been a long-lasting issue. Many representation made, and I'm talking to the NWC gentleman right now, not the NHT, and I've heard that the NHT is financing what was a private sewage treatment plant, and that not only will the new beneficiaries of lots have the access to a more efficient system, but the original owners. So if you're an original owner, give the NWC a round of applause, please, if you're in the audience, because we're going to solve that problem. This is the representation that we love and expect. Secondly, Prime Minister, I am going to almost be like Martin Luther King and speak of the I Have a Dream speech, because ultimately, representing a constituency, you have to come with a vision and you have to create legacy. And, having been here for 3 terms, I'm not so sure how much longer we'll go because life has many unexpected turns. I really want to see a legacy which is contained in a dream. You want to hear what that dream is? I have a dream that when I drive from 4 roads where the stoplight is, along Johns Road up to Cherry Gardens and Kitson Town, I'll be driving on a 4-lane road with a water runoff system that takes the water down through Innswood, where we share the road space without much congestion with those who are going to be laid to rest in their final resting place at Dovecot or Meadowrest, and those who are coming just the night over to go back out to work and to come back in as productive citizens. I have a dream, brethren. Do you agree with me? I have a dream that now that we have solved the security issues, and big up to the security forces and the Green Acres police station, security enhances development. And we are proud, again, thanks to the Prime Minister and the team, for what we have done in controlling the monster of crime in this area, which has made this area one of the most desired areas for people to live, to grow, to raise their families, which is why that dream, I believe, can become a reality. The other aspect of this dream is to see the corridors of Johns Road being developed in housing, which it is zoned for, developed in commercial space. This constituency does not have a commercial bank. As a matter of fact, it doesn't have a money teller machine. What you call them again? ATM? An ATM machine. With 40,000 people, more houses being developed, I believe that dream is a dream that should come true. And I know the Prime Minister is going to make it happen with the greater Innswood development before I leave the constituency as Member of Parliament. I have a dream, brethren, that we will have restaurants, we'll have supermarket, we will have banks, we will have a wholesale, we'll have the eatery so you can go out and buy your sister or your brethren ice cream. How that sound? A Devon House ice cream along the St. John's Road corridor. It is all possible because the land is there. We just have to solve the water problem and solve the road problem. The 2 biggest challenges in St. Catherine West Central. Well, the good news is that the Prime Minister has a plan. We have met several times on it and discussed it, and I know the NHT is helping to map it out. I just want it to happen before my dream is converted otherwise. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you, Prime Minister.
We want to thank you to Dr. Tufton, this area's representative, Member of Parliament for St. Catherine West Central. Ladies and gentlemen, I see some students standing in the aisle. We're about to hear from a talented group of individuals, and they are finalists in this year's Jamaica Best School Band competition. I must tell you that they were also the winners of the said competition in 2022. Please join me in welcoming to the stage a talented group of the talented St. Catherine High School Choir. I do believe we can give them another round of applause, the talented St. Catherine High School Choir. What a beautiful rendition of Reach, the theme song of the 1996 Olympics held in Atlanta. It was really, really a beautiful rendition. And again, they are accompanied by the school band. Let's give them another round of applause. Coming to you at this time is another multi-talented artist, also coming out of the St. Catherine High School. We have heard him sing, we have seen him dance, but we will not be calling on those skills today. He's better known as Prime Minister and Portfolio Minister with responsibility for the NHT. He will tell you that his presence here today and on all these occasions is a testament of his personal commitment for housing Jamaicans. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the lectern Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness to bring our keynote address.
I was actually looking for the entertainer. I was like, where is this entertainer? That's a very, very good one, Master of Ceremonies. Very good one, very good one. Allow me to acknowledge Reverend Shane Hansel. Thank you very much for your prayers. And of course, we must acknowledge your hard-working Member of Parliament, Dr. the Honorable Christopher Tufton, our Minister of Health. I almost said Dr. the Honorable Martin Luther King. I'm pleased to have in our presence the Mayor, Mayor Norman Scott. Good to see you, sir. And of course, my commendations to the NHT for the delivery of yet another project, and special acknowledgement to Mr. Linval Freeman, the chairman, and Martin Miller, the managing director, and the rest of the executive of the NHT that are here with us today. Stakeholders and representatives of the private sector, the representative of the beneficiaries, Ms. Stephanie Jolly, and allow me to give my commendations to the St. Catherine High School Choir and Band. I see that they continue to live up to the great tradition that the school has established. Ladies and gentlemen, well-wishers, friends, it is good to be here in Cherry Gardens, St. Catherine. When I saw Cherry Gardens on my itinerary, I was wondering, why am I going to be opening houses in Cherry Gardens in Kingston? And then I looked closer. So we're gathered here to mark another tangible step forward in one of the most important national priorities of our time, expanding home ownership across Jamaica as a means of improving security and stability in the lives of our citizens, as well as creating a strong foundation for economic growth. There is a question that every government must answer, not in Parliament, not in policy documents, but in places like this. Are we actually delivering for the people? And today, in Cherry Gardens, St. Catherine, the answer is yes. Today, we are handing over 34 service lots to beneficiaries, part of a broader development of 193 lots delivered through a partnership between the National Housing Trust and the private developers under the Interim Finance Program. 47 lots have already been delivered, and today completes another phase of that process. For the individuals receiving these lots, this is a significant personal milestone. Each lot represents significant, tangible real asset in the hands of real people with real potential to transform lives. For the country, it is the latest milestone in the government's campaign to promote ordered development. in contrast to the unstructured development which has featured in our past developments. This project has been carefully situated. It is located along the St. John's Main Road, providing direct connectivity between Spanish Town and Kitson Town, and it sits within a network of established and emerging communities, including Green Acres and St. John Heights. Equally important is the infrastructure that underpins the development. The lots are supported by paved roads, drainage systems, potable water networks, electrical infrastructure, and designated green and recreational spaces. These features are essential to ensuring that the development functions as a viable and integrated community rather than a collection of isolated lots. The objective of my administration is not simply to increase the number of units or lots available, but to ensure that developments are properly serviced, well located, and capable of supporting long-term economic and social activity. The interim finance program under which this is done has played a critical role in making this possible. Under this arrangement, the National Housing Trust provides developers with financing of up to 100% of construction costs at concessionary interest rates. However, access to these favorable terms is conditional on developers passing the benefit on to purchasers through reduced prices. This approach aligns incentives in practical ways. It lowers the cost of capital for developers while ensuring that affordability remains central to the final outcome. It also helps to expand supply without placing the full burden of delivery on the public sector. The result is evident in the pricing of these lots, which range from approximately $3.1 million to $6.4 million. I think very, very reasonable, very affordable in the current context. For many Jamaicans, this represents an achievable entry point into land ownership. The profile of the beneficiaries also illustrates the inclusive nature of the program. More than half of the recipients are women. A significant portion fall within the lower income band, with 40% qualifying for mortgages at 0%. The beneficiaries include individuals working in administration, education, health services, security, and skilled trades. I see the president of the Civil Service Association, who is a member of the board of the NHD, and I know that she is a very strong advocate. We sit across from her in other fora, and we know she's a strong, very strong advocate. And I know that she's also advocating on behalf of the workers when she sits on the board of the NHD. I'm not hereby empowering you to do more than you're already doing on the board. But I know that you speak strongly for the workers, and we're happy to have your participation in the development of the governance and policy of the NHD. So these are individuals who contribute consistently to the functioning of the economy, but who have historically faced barriers to accessing formal housing solutions. Expanding access for this group is not only a matter of equity, it is also economically sound. When more Jamaicans are able to secure land and housing, the benefits extend beyond individual households to the wider economy through increased stability, investment, and participation. To fully understand the significance of today's handing over, it is useful to place it within the broader context I outlined in Parliament yesterday, the reconstruction and development of Jamaica post a hurricane. And to reconstruct and develop at a pace that can see the fulfillment of the dream outlined by Minister Tufton, your Member of Parliament. The truth is that Jamaica is not short of dreams. The Jamaican people are not short of ambition. We're not short of plans. What we are short on is implementation. That has been our historical shortcoming. I give you an example, and I'm speaking without full knowledge of this project in terms of its past, but I gather that some units were delivered under this project before. I believe you said in 2004, somewhere around there. But there were issues with the sewage and the infrastructure to support the further delivery of the rest of the lots which we are delivering today. So, what's that now? 21 years? 21 years for me to be able to stand here and deliver the other 34 lots. I just want you to consider that. Our problem as a people, it's not the ability to dream and think big. We are a people who think of ourselves in exceptional terms. We see ourselves as the greatest people in the world. So there is a certain exceptionalism about Jamaicans. But if you compare what we have actually achieved versus what is our potential, we will have to confess that yes, we have achieved so much, but we could have achieved so much more. Somewhere along the line, a perspective on how we administer our affairs have come to congeal itself in our minds that if it doesn't take long, it wasn't well done. That is the thinking, indeed, of many of our intellectuals and opinion leaders. We have been led by a generation of thinkers who have adopted a perspective on bureaucracy that puts process over outcome. That may have been good coming through the colonial era which we inherited from our colonial past in terms of how we administer our affairs, to the point where we don't trust ourselves, where we hide behind laws and regulations and rules, where we don't view a lack of outcome as corruption. What we view as corruption is a lack of process. So the people not getting what they're supposed to get we don't see that as corruption. What we see as corruption is that this I was not dotted and this T was not crossed. We need to change that mindset to tie the people who are administrators, who are executives, who have ministerial function, to whether or not the people got the road or got the house or got the outcome that has made their lives better. That is what we need to twin. Effort must equal outcome. We must measure effort. It is a dangerous path to place in the public domain because it is not well understood, but it is a path that Jamaica needs to travel if we are going to be able to deliver 34 lots in less than 21 years. I raised and acknowledged the presence of the President of the Civil Service Association because performance management must be the new buzzword of Jamaica. Performance, delivery, and outcome. We cannot engage in conversations about reward and more and getting more and more without engaging at the same time in conversations about producing more. The two things are connected. You can't get more unless you produce more. And you can't get more quickly unless you produce more quickly. My job is to raise these uncomfortable truths to the people, to change people's way of thinking and their mindset. Because if we are to fulfill the dreams that we have and realize the potential that we have to do so with greater speed, greater alacrity, greater efficiency and productivity. These are not words that are in our social psyche. We still believe that somehow we are being exploited, that there is some secret reserve somewhere that we can take it from without having to produce it. Until we as a people understand that whatever we get is what we are producing. You want roads fixed, hospitals improved? We have to produce more. Yes, there was a time when inefficiency of the government was an issue. And it is still an issue. But fiscal inefficiency, meaning how we manage the public resources, that was a real issue. Lots of wastage happened. But I believe that in the last decade and a half, significant efforts have been made in reducing the fiscal inefficiency of your government. And you see that in the halving of our national debt. You see that in how we have been responsible in managing the expenditure of government. Now, the next phase is for us to shift to a partnership for productivity, where workers can be guaranteed that if you put out more output and more production, you will get more pay without it being inflationary. The old model has been to ask for more pay because there is inflation. And the more pay you get is the more inflation it drives, because the critical factor of productivity isn't there. The critical factor of productivity wasn't there. And that is what we will have to focus on. We cannot claim to be this great nation where we have the fastest man and the fastest woman in the world. The record. And it took us 21 years to bring these lots. Every Jamaican must now start to think about what is it that I am contributing to the national output and how fast am I doing it. And so the presentation that I made to Parliament yesterday about establishing the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, NARA, it's about turning a new leaf in public bureaucracy and take on the large projects and even the small ones and deliver them quickly at scale. How we can match our dreams to our capabilities to deliver. And that's what NARA is about. So a few things I will say as it relates to the NHT and the impact that we intend to have on the NARA. The challenge of housing in Jamaica today is, as I've said before, a supply-side challenge. There is not much more that the NHT can do to support the demand side of housing. Meaning, we have reduced interest rates to where more than 40% of the NHT's portfolio are accessing mortgages at close to like at 0% or 2%, which is really fantastic. We have increased constantly increasing the amount that borrowers can access individually and collectively to purchase homes. We're doing all kinds of things to give preference to the public service, to young people, to be able to access homes. What we have discovered is that the more we do in terms of increasing the accessibility to financing, is the more the market inches up the price. Why? Because there is just simply not enough houses being built on the market. So the more you create effective demand, is the more the price goes up. So what the government is focusing on now is on increasing the supply of houses. The challenge with that is, one, the availability of developable land. So the developable lands, we have essentially utilized most of them. Now, developable, you're looking at usually lands that are, you want flat or gently sloped lands that you can easily build on, so that the cost of the development of the infrastructure is not as significant relative to the cost of building. You also want land that is in proximity to where there is economic activity and people are already living. So, for example, St. Catherine is a good place. This would be a very good place. Kingston, St. James, Trelawney. You would also want to ensure that the land is not coming into conflict with environmental concerns. So yes, Jamaica does have undeveloped land, but many of that acreage would be in agriculture. Some are in rural areas. Some are in hilly areas, inaccessible areas, and the cost to make those lands available would be significant when added to the cost of construction of the housing unit, which would make the price higher. What we have done is very strategic. We have looked at our country spatially, and we have determined the national road network that is necessary. And as we build out the highways, we are now opening up new lands that can be easily connected to areas where there is significant economic activity. So it's easier for people to say, yes, I can live here because the highway takes me to my place of work much more quickly. So we're doing that. The second thing, however, is that we have to contemplate infilling, meaning there are communities, like here in St. Catherine, where you have communities all over undeveloped lands, but historically it was done quite haphazardly. The communities were developed without proper plans for drainage, without proper plans for water, without proper plans for sewage. And then persons would have developed without a plan, which is the challenge we face in this community. So there are many communities there approved by the parish council, where the parish council doesn't take on master planning. They approve based upon the requirements under their act. Government has to do the master planning. So in this area, we have decided to create a new master plan called the Greater Innswood area, where we have established communities, emerging communities, but we have the potential for more communities because there are lands within the community that needs to be infilled. But we can't build them under the same way in which they were built before, without sewage, without water, without proper roads. So, Minister Tufton, your dream of a proper roadway coming onto St. John's Road, coming up all the way here, that dream is going to materialize. Yes, that dream is going to materialize. But I always say, Minister Tufton, I am not a dreamer. Because you dream with your eyes closed. I like to say, I'm a visionary. A visionary. Vision it. That means your eyes are open. And you're seeing it in front of you. You're seeing how it can materialize. So we have put in place a committee to do the planning for it. It is led by the NHT. Martin, you are responsible. Martin Miller, Managing Director of the NHT. He leads the Greater Innswood Master Plan development. And we're looking at all the lands in the area. We are taking all the developments that are planned in the area but can't be approved because of challenges, as I've said before, with water, sewage, roads, and so forth. And we are planning it out. The development of the master plan will therefore involve some amount of government spending. Now, I'm careful when I say the term government spending, because you see, the citizens listening on believe that somehow government money is separate from your money. Whenever we say government spending, it's your money. It's you own it. You are the taxpayers that funded it. It's your money. It's not something separate. So it means that you, the taxpayer, will have to fund a part of the development of the master plan. What does that mean? For these lands to be able to be properly developed with the density of housing that would be required, this road here can't carry it. When that road was developed, you didn't have so many houses here when it was first conceived. we didn't have so many houses developed that is draining water from their front yard, off their roof, onto the road. So for this area to be properly developed and infilled, we're going to have to improve that roadway, expand it. I don't know about a 4-lane highway, but we'll expand it enough. It has to have a drain, a proper drain, and we have to determine where that water will go. It's not just to move it from one community to another. We have to have a drainage system that takes the water out to a detention pond or out to sea. So there has to be proper drainage. That kind of infrastructure is costly. We have to consider sewage. It's one thing to have, 20, 30 houses and everybody digs their own septic tank or pit or whatever it is. It's a different thing when you have 1,000 houses, because what that means is that your water underground will be impacted. So we have to put in proper sewage. So this is for the public's benefit. We consider this kind of infrastructure public good, and therefore the public's resources, the government spending will have to be done on this. But private sector will benefit as well. They will get a profit of selling the houses, and therefore their development is having an impact on the public good and on the environment, and therefore they should contribute as well to the development of the infrastructure through what we call an impact fee. So as soon as we have the master plan developed, then there will have to be a kind of public-private partnership to fund the necessary infrastructure. This is a model that we will have to use right across Jamaica. We have tested it in Bernard Lodge. It has worked perfectly, but it has worked enough. Bernard Lodge is going very rapidly. The people who are involved in housing development, they can plan out their construction schedule 3-4 years in advance, and they know what their capital costs are going to be, what their investment is, so they can plan and just build houses. Don't have to worry about permittings and approvals and all the other challenges that they have. They have their land set, and they can go and build. We want to do the same thing here. So as soon as the master plan is approved, Martin, that is in your hands. We have to move quickly on it. Then we will make the necessary allocations for the development of your road and your drainage and your water. And then you will see a massive influx of housing developments here. I'm aware of at least 3 projects or 4 projects that could bring over 3,000 housing solutions in this area or more if that infrastructure is in place. So I want to give you that commitment. Now, we're not proposing to put this under NARA. It's a project that is already underway. I believe the existing bureaucracy can handle it. But there are other projects which will very well come under NARA, under the fast element of NARA, which is if you are $15 million or more, you will qualify for the fast projects under NARA that we hope to crowd in. So I'm using this platform to say to Jamaica, Jamaican investors, persons in the diaspora, our local investors, that if you have lands that are in proximity to the roads that we are developing, you should contact us to let us know what are your plans. If you're going to develop housing there, if you want to put up, factories or commercial centers or logistics operations, let us know so we can build a matrix of investment opportunities, properly advise, properly guide, assist you and facilitate you through the approvals process. Clearly, if you're coming in under $15 million. This is our attempt to what we call crowd in the investments, to create the synergy along what the government is going to invest in, which is our road infrastructure. We should pair that with what the private sector could invest in, which would be the hotels, the housing, the logistics, and all the other kinds of infrastructure development that private sector may want to undertake. Now, can you imagine in Jamaica, we're doing all these highways, and along those highways at the same time would be the development of housing and all other kinds of economic activity. We could easily double the GDP of Jamaica. We have the potential to do it right here if we get NARA correct. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to have participated in this event, and I know the persons who are the successful recipient of these lots, who have successfully purchased these lots, that this will be transformational for their lives, and I hope to pass here in a year's time, not giving you more than that, to see some lovely structures going up, and hopefully, maybe I could stop and get a drink of water. So it is indeed my great pleasure. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister. In 12 months, these lands will tell a different tale. At this time, we will proceed with the most anticipated moment of this ceremony, the handover of letters of possession for 34 beneficiaries. Today serves as a reminder of the incredible achievement you have unlocked for yourselves and for your families. We urge you to cherish the moment and let it be a source of inspiration for the journey ahead. Assisting us today is a team that you're very familiar with, the team at the St. Catherine branch office headed by Mrs. Janet Hartley Millwood. And you see her there positioning herself. And so, Prime Minister, we are going to invite you at this time to return to the stage as we begin to distribute those letters of possession. Now, I had a conversation with this lady earlier on, and she was very excited to be here. And so she is the first person to receive her letter, and her name is Janetta Nelson Chen. Let's give her a round of applause. You know how ladies love their kitchen, so I was having a conversation with her about what's the first meal she will be preparing in that kitchen. And so we're very happy today. And she's here with her son collecting this letter of possession. Another round of applause for Mrs. Janetta Nelson Chen. Heartiest congratulations to you. I'll invite at this time Mr. Darren White to step forward as he collects. And Mr. White, you are accompanied by his wife. Let's give them a round of applause. Mr. and Mrs. White, is that an indication of the color that the walls will be painted in? It's my pleasure to invite to come forward Mr. Bruce Williams as he collects his letter of possession. And there's a gold indication that Mrs. Williams is around, so we congratulate them both. Let me invite to come forward at this time Mr. Ronald Thomas to collect. And Mr. Thomas promised me that he's going to plant a Julie mango tree. Congratulations to you, Mr. Thomas. And following Mr. Thomas, let me invite to come forward Miss Suzette Plummer. Miss Plummer, may I invite you to come forward? You look like the person already thinking about the drapes in the living room. Let me invite Miss Cecilia Gordon to come forward at this time. Miss Gordon is already thinking where she'll place the sofa, and she says right there in front of the TV. Miss Veronique Francis, may I invite you? Let's give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And congratulations, Miss Francis. May you come forward, Miss Rochelle Campbell. Congratulations, Miss Campbell. I can see you at your gate saying, welcome to my home. Ladies and gentlemen, our next beneficiary is Roxanne Ellis. May I invite Roxanne Ellis? And Miss Ellis, you're accompanied by your mom. It is such a wonderful photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a round of applause. Novelet Francis, may I invite you to come forward? Novelet Francis. Novelet Williams. Novelet Williams, may I invite you to come forward? And you're accompanied by? Also accompanied by your mom. Wonderful. Let me invite at this moment to come forward Mr. Wayne Miller. Mr. Miller, may I invite you to come forward? Miss Tricia Stewart. And with that smile, it tells me that she's already deciding what is the first meal you're going to cook in that house. Anything curry is good, and you can invite me. May I invite to come forward Miss Ruth Ann Pearson to collect your letter of possession. Miss Natasha Bogle, may I invite you to come forward? So you're there thinking about the color scheme in your home? And we'll invite Mr. Shane Christian to collect his letter of possession. I want us to give a rousing round of applause to the 15 persons who just collected their letters of possession. Prime Minister, thank you so much. I'd like to invite at this time Dr. the Honorable Christopher Tufton, Member of Parliament for St. Catherine West Central, to come forward. And sir, you will be handing the first letter of possession to Suzette Green Miller. And she was thinking about how she's going to lay the tiles one by one. Congratulations to Suzette Green Miller. A round of applause for Norma Raymore, ladies and gentlemen. Norma Raymore, congratulations. Keshan Sutherland, may I invite you to come forward? She has already chosen the curtains that she will put up in this home. May I invite Mr. Marlon McPherson to come forward. Mr. McPherson, your backyard garden, I can see it already. And standing by Charmaine Winter, may I invite you to come forward to collect your letter of possession. a very happy beneficiary, Clovis McDonald. I invite you, sir, to come forward and to collect your letter of possession. May I invite Carol Patterson to come forward. Mr. Patterson, congratulations. Laverne Willis. Congratulations, Mr. Willis. And he will be followed by Everett Black. Everett Black, and you're accompanied, accompanied by her son. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to them. Ophelia Reed. Another rousing round of applause for the 10 beneficiaries who just received their letters of possession. Thank you, Dr. Tufton. I'd like to invite to the stage at this time Chairman of the National Housing Trust, Mr. Linville Freeman. And sir, you will be helping us to present letters of possession to the following beneficiaries. Sharon Green. I see a plaque in the living room. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Donovan Clark. May I invite you to come forward, Mr. Clark. Mr. Ross, Calvin Ross. And you're accompanied by your daughter. Another wonderful photograph, Housing Generations. That's the National Housing Trust. Congratulations to you both. Mr. Calvin Ross and his daughter. May I invite Tiffany Jolly to come forward. Congratulations, Miss Jolly. I'm sure you're going to have a jolly good time when this house is finished. Let me invite to come forward Tracy Ann Lee to collect your letter of possession. And let's give them a rousing round of applause once more, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Chairman. It's my pleasure to invite to the lectern, to the stage at this time, Mr. Martin Miller, Managing Director of the National Housing Trust. And sir, you will be presenting letters of possession to, let's begin with Sharon McFarlane. Ms. McFarlane, I see you're planning your first Christmas dinner in the house. Joseph Codlin. May I invite Joseph Codlin? And Mr. Codlin, you're accompanied by Mrs. Codlin. Mr. and Mrs. Codlin, ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a round of applause. Our next beneficiary, I see her looking out for her neighbor and standing at the fence and saying, hello, neighbor. And let me invite Dawnette Brown Chamberlain to come forward. Congratulations. And to round out the 34 beneficiaries, let me invite to the stage Mr. Grant Graham. Mr. Graham. Thank you very much, MD. Ladies and gentlemen, wasn't that wonderful? 34 Jamaicans who have started the process to what they will call home. Now, let me just do a little bit of housekeeping. Just take me down one notch. Following the ribbon cutting, Prime Minister Holness will also plant a tree alongside beneficiary Mr. Calvin Ross. Isn't that a wonderful thing? Because we want to ensure that we're not just building physical structure, but we're building out a sustainable environment. And guess what? And all the new property owners here at Cherry Gardens will receive a fruit tree to be planted on their property. How long does a fruit tree? It depends on the fruit, right? I think I'll be driving around probably 9 months to a year and to see what fruits will be blossoming here. Finally, today we have witnessed more than a handover. Wouldn't you say that? We have witnessed the continuation of a promise, one that the NHG has been making for 50 years. To our new lot beneficiaries, may your plans be bold, your foundation strong, and your futures bright. Thank you for being a part of this special occasion today, and it is my pleasure at this time to invite Miss Tiffany Jolly, a proud lot owner at Cherry Gardens, to provide some reflection on the journey so far and to move a vote of thanks. Let's welcome her as she comes to the lectern.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed a pleasure and an honor for me to stand here before you today on this momentous occasion, a day that is not just another event. It is a milestone, a turning point, and a celebration of dreams becoming reality. We respectfully honor the presence of our Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Member of Parliament, Dr. the Honorable Christopher Tufton, other distinguished guests, members of the organizing committee, special invitees, my fellow neighbors, and all other well-wishers gathered here today. Special mention must be made to the outstanding team from the National Housing Trust, St. Catherine Branch, the branch manager, Mrs. Janet Hartley Millwood, Senior Loans Officer, Mr. Ryan Simmons, and the most patient loan officer I've ever encountered, Mr. Giovanni Higgins. We sincerely thank you for your guiding us through this significant process and for making it smooth and manageable, because as we would say, we want to really make it easy for you. It is truly a pleasure for me to stand before you to deliver the vote of thanks on this special occasion. Today is a proud and joyful moment, not just for me as a new landowner, but for all the selectees in this process. Owning a piece of land is more than having property. It is about building a future, creating stability, and leaving a legacy for a generation to come. Today we celebrate this dream becoming a reality. As we say, we not stop build, we are go forward. On behalf of all the beneficiaries present, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to the National Housing Trust and the government of Jamaica for this meaningful initiative and for making the dream of land ownership a reality. So many hardworking Jamaicans, truly enough people's dreams come true today. Your dedication reminds us that progress is most powerful when it is shared. To my fellow new landowners, my neighbors, heartiest congratulations to you all. This is a significant step forward. As we say, 1-1 Cocoa. Great. So let us build together, little by little, until we reach our full potential. To everyone who contributed to making today a success, we say thank you. Your efforts have made a lasting impact on our lives and our communities. As we leave here today, let it not just be an end of a ceremony, but the beginning of something greater. Let us go forward with purpose, with pride, and with determination to build not just our dream homes, but a strong community and a stronger Jamaica. Before we go, we all know this one, and I'm going to ask you all to sing it with me. Music team. The song, I'm not much of a singer, but I'll try. It says, "This is the land of my birth." I said, "This is the land of my birth." I said, "This is Jamaica." Because at the end of the day, Jamaica cannot build itself, or we build it. Thank you, and may God continue to bless you all.
Another round of applause for Miss Tiffany Jolly. She left us with a few nuggets there to build not just our dream home, but a strong community. And she called on her neighbors to assist. And you know we're good for that in Jamaica, right? By helping our neighbors to build. So your neighbor doing a day's work and you go over there and give them some help. And we hope to see a lot of that happening in this community. Well, we just have one major activity left, and I want you to just stay with me for a moment. We will witness a ribbon cutting exercise with our Prime Minister, Dr. Tufton, Mr. Freeman, Mr. Miller, and our beneficiary, Junetta Nelson Chin. Following the ribbon cutting, then our Prime Minister will plant the tree alongside our beneficiary, Mr. Calvin Ross, as I indicated earlier. Finally, today I just wanted to say thank you. Our beneficiary did the vote of thanks, but I really want to thank the planning committee for today's event, headed by Mrs. Anne-Marie Vidal, and we can give from the NHG, want to give her a round of applause. We want to thank the construction and development team, headed by our senior general manager, Mr. Brian Saunders, our brand staff, led by Mrs. Janet Hartley-Millwood, who you are very familiar with, Edge Marketing for logistics and decor, PRS for audiovisual support, the social development department for helping us to settle in as a community, and to our marketing and after sales department. Let's give them a round of applause. So this is my opportunity just to thank you for being just a great audience and to wish for you a very pleasant afternoon as the team prepares for the ribbon cutting. We ask the rest of you to remain seated while we prepare for the ribbon cutting, the Prime Minister and his team. If you turn your eyes just to the side where you see the sign Cherry Gardens, then you'll be able to partake in and witness the ribbon cutting. And when the ribbon is cut, what are you going to do? You're going to shout what? What? Yeah? All right, let's get ready. Hooray, hooray. Hooray is better. Hooray. All right, so let's go. After... So we see in place Prime Minister, we see Dr. Tufton, we see our board chairman, Mr. Freeman, we see Managing Director, Mr. Martin Miller, and we are awaiting the arrival of beneficiary Junetta Nelson Chen. Now they must stay over there and hear us shouting over here. She's on her way. Mrs. Nelson Chen is on her way. She'll be there shortly. ready now? Are you ready? So congratulations again to all the beneficiaries. And here we go. And for a loud cheer, let's 1, 2, 3. All right, let's go again. Okay. Let's give a round of applause. There we go. I want to invite all 34 beneficiaries, if you could just head in that same area with like a photograph with all of you and the Prime Minister and his team. Ushers, can you help us to get the beneficiaries to that area? Yeah, I know. Mr. Ross? Mr. Calvin Ross, where are you? A very good afternoon to you all.
Get home with NHT, more possibilities. Get home with NHT, turn a dream home into reality. From vision to foundation, for many generations. Home buyer or home builder, get to your destination. Get home with NHT, more possibilities. Get home with NHT, the key to your home. Get home with NHT, the key to your home.
Hi, my name is Natalie Collington. My husband and I bought this lot with a loan from the NHT. Now, we are building our house. Building isn't easy, but we work close with our NHT project officer. We followed the plan and kept tight control of the funds. Because of that, I know we're going to be successful. If you have land, I implore you, get a loan from the NHT, start your construction, and with perseverance, you can be successful too. As soon as this house is finished, it will be hosting 5 people. Me, my husband, and 3 of our kids. I am proud to say that I will be the first in my family to have my own home. Thank you, NHT.
For more about NHD Home Builder Loans, visit nhd.gov.jm or call 888-CALL-NHD.
The key to your home.
Congratulations! Becoming a homeowner is one of the largest investments you'll ever make. And for a new NHT homeowner, starting on the right foot is especially important. First up, let's talk about the defect liability period. This is the time when the NHT or its contractor is responsible for fixing any issues with your house. You'll get a unit inspection form to report any defects you notice. It's super important to complete this during this period. It's your chance to ensure everything is just right. As you settle in, here are a few essential tips for a smooth transition. Make sure to occupy the unit within the defects liability period. For your peace of mind, change the locks before moving in. Get to know your neighbors. They can be
Everybody here everybody here can go back a little bit more, please. The short one, you shall be at the front. Yeah, man.
Everybody's good? All right, let's go.
Ladies, try to go back a little bit.
Sorry, everyone can we just take a step back so we can ensure we get everyone in the frame?
No, the people on this side can't see, so please.
Picture. One shot, everyone.
We need to go back. Just step
Agent,
back.
wherever I can get the agent, just get what you can get. Because them now move.
There you go.
All right, everybody got it?
You need to step in. Hello, you need to step in. No, just step closer to her. Step closer to her.
Agent, you good?
Yep.
All right.
Everybody look this way, Red. Look this way. Look this way.
We're 19. Sorry.
Good?
Don't disturb.
These are the masterclass. Yeah, right. Issues that you have.
Yeah, but I see this too. Soon I'm going to see a lens. Actually, I'm also cool.
In my video too, so I can. Oh, all right. Go ahead.
Have you paid off for you?
Hey, we're the chairman. The chairman.
So you can stop back us.
Chairman.
When this other stuff like that, the BMW, that's when they get customers.
Yeah, that's correct. The chairman stand right.
We have some more time. I'll take your names and